This is the field of 68. I'm Vince Wolfram.
I'm Jojo Cavanagh in Auburn, Alabama. And this
is Straight Out the Jungle. Welcome back to Straight Out the Jungle. My name is Vince Wolfram.
And I'm Jojo Cavanagh.
A big win in Atlanta for Auburn, 91-53. The number 2 ranked Tigers absolutely demolished Ohio State today in Atlanta. And frankly, the gym itself, majority Auburn by a mile. Like, I think the orange and blue to red ratio definitely lead in the favor of the traveling Auburn faithful.
Yeah, I mean, this is a neutral site game, but Atlanta's an hour and a half from Auburn. So Bruce Pearl said it. The Auburn family did show up, but just wanted to pause for a second because Stephen Pearl was not at the game. And I just wanted to say congratulations to Stephen Pearl, to Bruce Pearl, because Stephen Pearl became a father today. So
yes.
Straight Out the Jungle, just congrats. But I think that's probably the best. I think Auburn basketball tweeted, for Laney this win. So that outshines the win, but a 38-point win. They said he was watching, I guess, maybe the hospital or something because he had the scout for this game. So during timeouts, they were calling him. Yeah. But yeah,
definitely loves ball.
But 38-point win and just at a neutral site, but in Atlanta, Hawks Arena, State Farm Arena, and led by none other than Janai Broom.
Yeah, and Janai Broom, he dominated the game in basically every facet. The first 2020 game since 1989 in Auburn history. That was big enough. And just his impact on the floor. He led Auburn in assists tonight, too. 6 assists. He was facilitating, and he said in his press conference, he said, I like when teams double team me because then I can find my teammates. I can find Dylan cutting. I can find Denver and Tahad shooting threes. And he did that all evening long. But like you said, on the boards and in the paint, that's where Janai made his biggest impact tonight.
Yeah, 21 points, 20 rebounds. And like you said before, that's a testament to when you talked to Jeff Goodman, he had talked to Janai and said leadership is kind of a new thing for Janai. It wasn't really who he is, and it's who he's grown to be. And just talk about now how he loves giving his teammates the ball. Now he gets assists, but he had another double-double before halftime. Like you said, the first 2020 game since 1989, Auburn, Kelvin Artister. I had to go in the history books for that one, pull that one out. But then also a couple other stats that I found. So he is the 3rd SEC player in the last 25 seasons to score 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 assists. The other two, Kobe Brown, Mizzou, Ben Simmons, LSU.
Wow.
So that one is crazy. And then in college basketball this season, there are 3 individual performances of 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Janai Broom has all 3. In college basketball.
Oh my goodness.
Ohio State, Memphis, and North Carolina. So not only just did this game add to Janai Broom's accolades, but like he didn't even play the last 11 minutes and 40 something seconds.
Didn't need to.
Yeah, he played 26 minutes, I think it was. So unreal. And then also, you're in Atlanta. I don't think we forgot to mention that. You're at State Farm Arena.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
I'm home in New York, so I was watching it. Christmas tree on, fireplace, and everything. So different vibes, still both good vibes. But they played like a little package. I think it was from Media Days where Bruce Pearl and Janai talked about Auburn. And Janai got asked, what is the DNA of a championship team? And he said an answer that kind of like gave me chills. And it was just, I don't know. He said chemistry, brotherhood, and commitment.
Wow.
So bar.
Yeah, right.
But that's just like, I love, right? And it's just like the testament to not only is he dominating on the court, but his leadership and the way that I think everyone in this team looks up to him, his relationship with Dylan Cardwell, his mentorship with Todd Pettiford, and the fact that everyone can not only praise him, and then he pulls out a game like this against Ohio State, who is, I think, number 20 in net or Ken Palm. So just a monster game from Janai Broom once again.
Yeah, and another day, another dollar for Janai. And the coolest part is, we're seniors. It's coming up for us. Janai is going back from Atlanta right now with Chaney Johnson to graduate this evening. That is pretty cool. He had to get back. Had to get back for graduation. That's a big win. That's a day full of wins, right? You go beat Ohio State by a bajillion in Atlanta, and then you go back to Auburn, graduate, celebrate. It's probably going to be a great day by the time it's over for those two. But yeah, Janai Broom ruled the show today. And on defense, I thought he was a big piece, stopping Ohio State's offense, one of the best 3-point shooting offenses in the country. Ohio State shot 38% from three today. Auburn shot 43% today. They shot the crap out of the ball. And in my opinion, that three-point attack was led early by Miles Kelly and was picked up as the game went on by Denver Jones. Denver, he was the one who impressed me the most today. Number two, he was filling the stat sheet. Started the game off really hot, 4 for 4 from three. Ended up being 4 for 5 from behind the arc, 5 of 6 shooting, 14 points. I just thought he had a great game. He controlled the tempo. He guarded Ohio State's best guard, which I think we'll see repeatedly Denver having to do throughout the season. But he really, really looked good offensively today. I thought he came back last game against Richmond after the shaky Duke performance, but he really, really sold me on his offensive game today. Whenever he gets in that rhythm where he comes off 1-2 step and into his three-point shot, it's like you can cash it in. You know it's going to be money. Same with Miles. Miles got off to that fast start. He had 8 of Auburn's first 10 points. And I mean, that was a three. That was a bucket getting to the basket. He's back in his hometown, not his hometown, his old former college hometown, I guess, when he played at Georgia Tech in Atlanta in front of his people. So he was back in his element and he was balling out.
Yeah, he said he had a bunch of people asking them for tickets, so they got to see a really good Auburn game. But Denver Jones, like you said, he had 14 points. He shot, I think, was it 3 threes right in the beginning. But I think his biggest aspect of this game was his defensive performance. Bruce Pearl
100%.
talked about leading into this game, he had some sort of injury. I think it might have been an ankle injury, and then he ended up guarding Ohio State's leading scorer Thornton, who averages 16 points per game. Denver Jones kept him to 3 points. So just Denver Jones, like Bruce Pearl said, he's one of the best defensive guards in the country, the best defensive player on Auburn's team. And then adding 14 points to that, kept their leading scorer to 3 points. And then also, I think Mobley Jr., who had 8 points, I believe, he's number 2 in the country in three-point accuracy with 55.6%. So we kept him to 8 points. So two incredible shooters that Auburn just was able to lock down on the defensive front. And that really spoke out to me when there was a point in the first half where Auburn could not score for, I think, around 6 minutes. But the reason Auburn was kept in that game was because of their defense. And I also saw a stat where it was like, if Auburn did not score in the second half at all, they only would have lost by 4 points.
Wow.
So that's the defensive performance of the team. It's not going to get spoken about because Janai Broom had 20 points, 20 rebounds, because Auburn won by 38. But if we didn't score at all in the second half, we would have only lost by 4. So
Yeah. That's so impressive. And I mean, just the offensive outpour in the first 12, 13 minutes of that first half, that was enough to give Auburn a cushion to not play great offensively in the back half of that first period. And then the second half, they blew him out of the water offensively. And one thing with Miles I wanted to mention too before I forget, he did only play 15 minutes today. And in the second half, he bumped hands. I think someone bumped into that hand. He's been wearing tape on his wrist, and I guess it really, really bugged him, aggravated that wrist. He came and sat on the bench, got ice, got treatment, and did not return to the game. Bruce Pearl said there was really no update on Miles's condition after the game, other than once he saw it happen, Auburn was winning by so much, he decided to just shut Miles down for today. But that could be something going forward, especially with a quick turnaround ahead of the next game. That could be something to keep an eye on for Auburn as well. Miles Kelly getting back to full health.
yeah, hopefully it's nothing crazy. You know, we were winning by so much. We were able to put in Presley Patterson, Blake Muskalek. You know, Jaheim Hudson came in and shot a 3 and had 5 points
Yeah,
at
he had
the
5
end.
big points.
Oh, yeah. So hopefully it's not anything to really worry about because we were up by so much. I know our next game is Tuesday against Monmouth. So again, not much of a bigger opponent, but December 21st in Birmingham, we're playing Purdue. So hopefully we'll see Miles shortly. But I wanted to move over to the freshmen. So we haven't touched on Todd Pettiford and Ja'Kai Howard. Todd Pettiford ended with 9. You just saw, again, him and Miles Kelly, and I think you said Denver Jones. Like when they're ready to shoot a 3, it's just you feel comfortable, especially, I don't know, it's something about Tahaj shooting a 3. You know, he does the phone call, Janai does it too, but it's just, I love watching Todd Pettiford play. I think I say that in every episode. But then Ja'Kai Howard. Ja'Kai Howard had 11 points. He had that 3 that was awesome. But then at the end, that dunk, that was like, I think you tweeted, what was it, good night, Atlanta or
Good night.
something? Yep. Good night. So just again, I think Bruce Pearl also spoke out and was like, everyone's been talking about Todd Pettiford and how he's the best freshman on this team, which he is. But then he's also like, we have 2 freshmen on this team. And Ja'Kai Howard finally, after he got those minutes last week, he got it again against Ohio State, ended with double digits again. So just keep seeing the seniority of this team. But Todd Pettiford and Ja'Kai Howard have a huge upside. They're just freshmen and they're already scoring like unreal. So,
Yeah, they're both stepping into potentially big and bigger roles. Tahad has become the point guard, the leader
mhm.
that maybe people didn't expect him to be. They thought he would be that two guard. He could play two with Denver at a one and switch back and forth, but he's really controlled this offense. He's lefty, which is tough enough to defend, but he's scoring at such an effortless level. I think I tweeted during the game that he has that step back where he goes to his left. It's a 1-2 little side step. And whenever he does that, I am so confident that that ball is going in the basket. It's nylon every single time. And that's beginning to trust in your offense, beginning to trust in your point guard to score the ball, to find other players too. He's really good in that pick and roll with Dylan Cardwell and Janai Broom to see that growth because he's gotten a lot better in that aspect since the start of the season and on defense. Saw a lot of good defensive energy from Tahad today, jumping in front of defenders. It's just stopping the path of the ball a lot. That's very, very good to see from Tahad. And on the other side, the other freshman, Ja'Kai Howard, like you mentioned, getting more significant minutes. Guys like Chad Baker-Mazara, and in this instance, Miles Kelly's injury, gifting Ja'Kai Howard more of an opportunity. He was in front of his OTE people today in the arena. I think that gave him a little extra juice. Hit a three, had that dunk at the end. It wouldn't have been a Ja'Kai Howard performance without
Mm-mm.
a big-time jam. So that was certainly something I knew he had to get in, and he did at the end.
Yeah, and before I forget, the broadcast compared Todd Pettiford to Kyrie Irving, and I loved
I can
that.
see it.
Yeah, like, there's just something about both of their play, the way that they can pass the ball, the way that they can shoot the ball, the way that they have control of the court and you're comfortable when they have the ball and you see the teammates have trust in them. I never really not that I didn't see it, but I never really thought of it until they brought it up and I was watching the game and I was like, "Okay, mini Kyrie."
Yeah, they both have a similar spunk to their
Mhm.
game. It's a spirit. It's just a way to space make. It almost is what I feel is Tahad's one of Tahad's biggest strengths. And similar to that of Kyrie Irving, they say he's the best ball handler of all time, and there's a reason for it. He likes to make space. He likes to be acrobatic toward at the rim. He can make space and score from the perimeter as well. Just a guy that generates flow on offense. And Tahad certainly has done that in his few collegiate games thus far, and we hope to see more and more of that. Another guy I want to talk about that had a big game today. I think you would have thought I was lying if I told you that this guy had the second most shots today. Number 44, Dylan Cardwell, the big guard of the day, goes to Dylan Cardwell. He was 5 for 10 today. I don't think he shot 10 shots in his career, and if he has, he probably went 10 for 10 because they were all dunks. But today he was really getting active on offense. He finished with 10 points. Like I said, 5 of 10 shooting. He was testing his post game a little bit. Had some deep hook shots, trying to go over the shoulder and score, which is a good thing to see when Janai's the 4 man and Dylan's the 5 man. Usually he's on cleanup duty, but when Janai was out, because why not give the guy some rest? He's dominating this game. Dylan got in and tried to make his impact from the post, which I love to see. Plus, he pulled down 8 rebounds as well. So a big game from Dylan Cardwell. And I loved the one play. He went down, they threw him an oop, and he missed it. And
Oh,
then
yep.
they came back, got the ball, went right back to Dylan. Second try, no problem. A big time jam from Dylan Cardwell. But that's why you always give the second effort, and that's something we never miss from Dylan.
Yeah, no, and just when Dylan Cardwell scores in double digits, that is a win for Auburn. Like we said, sometimes it doesn't show up on the box score, the impact that Dylan Cardwell has on the game, has on this team, whether it's rebounds, whether it's blocks. But when he scores and when he's offensively, granted, again, it was Janai Broom towards the end of the game, didn't play the last 10 minutes. Dylan Cardwell was able to get those minutes. But when Dylan Cardwell scores in double figures, that is a great, great, great thing for Auburn.
Yeah, we don't need to see him in the box score, but when we do, it's a great sign of Auburn's success. That is for sure.
And it's also fun to watch because majority of them are dunks.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, he tried to change this Atlanta crowd into his crowd at Neville Arena. He had the block on I guess in the second half right in front of us, sent it out of bounds 15 feet. Goes to the Auburn fans. I mean, he had the roar going. He had the come on, I can't hear you thing going. And then when he had the block on the other end as well, he pulled out the old fashioned I can't hear you. I can't do it. But when you get that energy out of Dylan, your team is in fine shape.
Yeah, especially again, like making that home crowd. in Atlanta. And I know Tahio Spikes was there. They showed him on the Jumbotron saying, "War something else, Eagle."
Yep,
But
those words
just
that Jeff Goodman would say that we are not.
yeah, but just 38-point win against we were dominating the entire time. Like I was again just sitting and I was just like comfortable the entire time. And I was comfortable against Richmond. I was comfortable against North Alabama, Kent State, but this is Ohio State. They were ranked not too long ago.
No.
So, and they beat Rutgers, who have two of the best freshmen in the country that are going to be top
Mhm.
10 draft picks. So this is
Yeah.
a good team, but Auburn was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a fantastic win. And if you look at the team stats, Auburn did a lot of impressive things that we haven't done so far this season. We've talked about it multiple times. The way to win games is by making free throws. Auburn did that today. They were 12 of 14 from the line, Ohio State 11 of 19 for the line. That's the first stat. Second stat, we've been playing Dylan and Janai together. It's something I've begged for all offseason long,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen it so far this year, and it paid off on the glass today. 49 boards for Auburn, 28 for Ohio State. Defensive, those 33 of those were defensive, 16 of those were offensive. And when you rebound the ball like that, those lead to second chance points. Auburn, 19 second chance points to Ohio State's 5. That's a big, big difference. And when you can get second chance points, I mean, you're just giving your team more life. There's more energy. It's another chance to score, another chance to go get a stop and score again and build momentum, go on runs. So to see that energy and that fluidity from the Auburn offense, way to crash the boards and make their free throws was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Jay Williams said on the broadcast that Auburn has one of, if not the best front court in the nation with Dylan Cardwell and Janai Broom. And that was after I think Dylan Cardwell had like 3 blocks and it was not long into the first half. But and then another thing he said was this was towards the end of the game when we had, I think, Jaheim, Jakai, Blake, and Presley on, and we were up, I think it was 44 points at the time. I think I wrote this down. And he was like, there are still white jerseys diving on the floor for loose balls. So
Yep.
Auburn is up 44 and there is still 100% effort. That is
Yeah.
something that you don't just coach. That is these kids, the chemistry, like Janai Broom said, the brotherhood, the commitment, they want to win. So that was
Yeah.
just another cool thing to see.
Definitely. I mean, the defense, the effort, the toughness, that will never leave a Bruce Pearl coach team. That will always be a factor. It will always influence the game. A stat that jumped out to me. Listen to this. Auburn had 49 points in the first half. With 4 minutes left, Ohio State had 14 points. 14 points with 4 minutes. They had played 16 minutes of basketball and had 14 points. There was more minutes played in the game than there was points on the scoreboard. That's crazy. Auburn's defense is becoming elite game by game, day by day, opponent by opponent. It will be something I cannot wait to see how they transform and grow as the season continues.
Yeah, it is going to be a sight to
No,
see.
it was looking back on it. I think this will be a win where Auburn built a lot of confidence playing in Atlanta. We've done great in the neutral site games. The Maui Invitational swept those games. Houston swept those games, and hopefully that's a trend we can see continue as well as we play Purdue in Birmingham in just a matter of weeks.
Purdue, who lost today to SEC
And
team
I
Texas
did
A&M.
see that. That
So
was impressive.
yeah,
I did not expect Purdue to fall. So they'll be up for revenge. So it'll be maybe an even tougher game than we might have thought before.
100%. A team coming off a loss like Auburn, like this win coming off of Duke, you're a better team when you lose a loss, like a tough loss like that. So we'll see. Braden Smith
Definitely.
again in the running for National Player of the Year along with Janai Broom. So we'll see who wins that matchup.
Yeah, a lot of fuel added to the fire when there's L's in the loss column, right? But
100%.
yeah. You got anything else?
No, but we have a fun episode dropping soon.
Very fun episode with assistant coach Ira Bowman. He's a former Sixer, former Atlanta Hawk. If you were at the game today, you probably recognize that name. Former Sixer, Atlanta Hawk, and now he is the head of basically recruiting substitutions who you see in the game is Ira Bowman, and he's going to tell us much more about his role, this team, his past, how he got to Auburn, and plenty more when we release that episode later this week.
Yeah, that was so much fun. We talk Allen Iverson, we talk him recruiting, Tahad, Jakai, Sharif Cooper, Jabari Smith. So one of the most underrated, if not one of the best recruiters in the country. So he was awesome to talk to, and we're so excited for you guys to listen.
Yeah, that will most certainly be a fun one. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, like, follow, check out our playlist, check out all of our old episodes, and stay tuned I know you guys are on Christmas break now. You get a chance to enjoy the holidays. You'll be seeing a lot of stuff from us on your Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Twitter, TikTok, everything. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, we're being the holiday spirit. We'll both be home. We don't need a basketball break though. This is so fun. This team is so much fun to cover. So we'll have the Ira Bowman episode coming to you guys. We'll get into a Monmouth. Hopefully I say that right. I'm from the north, so hopefully. But another recap then. But yeah, another 38-point win for the Auburn Tigers.
We love it. A good old-fashioned butt kicking. 91-53 Auburn over Ohio State in Atlanta. It was a great win. Another episode in the books here. Thank you guys for tuning in from Atlanta at State Farm Arena. My name is Vince Wolfram.
And from the best state in the world, New York, I'm Jojo Cavanagh.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.